Hi everybody. I'll be responding to the previous statements made by our opponent, as well as addressing our own position on the FCC revoking the FCC's authority to revoke fines from broadcast license holders. I will begin by citing a source from Site Central News. A survey conducted in both the United States and Great Britain said that children at age 3 and 4 are already beginning to curse. So this displays, I believe, a changing of the times. It displays a sense of change that maybe we're not as sensitive as a people that we once were. And according to ABC News' official site, this would be in response to inhibiting free speech. In fact, the FCC does inhibit free speech. In the case of Howard Stern, over his lengthy career as a radio comedian and personality, he has been fined several times by the FCC. And it has brought attention to their harsh regulations. So, for example, at the 1992 MTV Music Awards, Howard Stern came dressed up as a fictional superhero named Fart Man. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds quite hilarious to me. He wore a gold spandex suit with his derriere exposed to the public. And for that, he was fined a total of $10,000. Now, again, it's purely subjective, but there's no reason for a hefty fine for exposing just the minimal part of the body. Howard Stern was also fined in 1998 for making a remark concerning Aunt Jemima, saying that she was the only woman of a mascot that he ever self-pleasured himself to. And yes, he said that on the air, and although it was quite triggering to some, it's not a big deal in the big picture. Stern was also called out by the FCC for saying on CBS that in the wake of Janet Jackson's Super Bowl wardrobe malfunction that occurred against the New England Patriots and the Carolina Panthers in 2003, Justin Timberlake exposed her breast on live TV. Howard Stern made the following remark, that it was all in jest, that it was not anything to be, again, not anything to be alarmed of. And just for saying that, the FCC fined him $550,000 for public defamation and slandering of Janet Jackson's image. To speak again on the inhibition of creativity by the FCC, according to Armstrong Williams from World News Domain in 2017, this year, he cited several instances in which song lyricists have been penalized for their lyrics and use of creativity. Tom Petty's 1994 single, "You Don't Know How It Feels," was fined for implying drug use. Now, think about that for a second. How many songs today imply the use of drug use on a daily basis, and as far as we know, don't face any penalty? Tom Petty was not given that luxury, and he was fined a total of $7,000 for this supposed slip-up. From the movie Grease, the beloved musical Grease, one line was censored from John Travolta when he said in the song Grease Lightning, "It ain't no shit." In another instance in Grease, another character made another cursatory remark, and he was not fined for it. Now, this may present a clear bias towards Travolta or against Travolta, one way or the other, conducted by the FCC when Grease was aired on TV back in 1978. The song "Walk Like an Egyptian" by the Bangles was fined for its name alone, and it's a beloved song. I mean, maybe not so much this generation, but it's been a beloved song all these years, and as far as anyone knows, there hasn't been a problem with it. And also, my favorite, the artist Amin's "Fuck It," was censored in Australia as well as in the Middle East for the title alone. According to Fair magazine, The FCC fined the Portland, Oregon radio station KBOO for an anti-rape song by Sarah Jones. The line that was censored in the song states as such: "Your revolution will not happen between your thighs." Now, interpret that as you wish, but that song is promoting an anti-rape message. And by the FCC censoring the song, this clearly presents an invitation of a good message that is being broadcast to the public. Colorado Springs KKMG was fined $7,000 for Eminem's "The Real Slim Shady," and although it is not considered a song that is spreading a positive message, in fact it is. Eminem himself stated that the song promotes anti-censorship remarks. According to Nielsen.com, of this conducted this year, there was only a small percentage of radio listeners that use satellite radio. 39% out of 92%. Now, what is meant by that is that not everyone can afford satellite radio. Not everyone can afford cable networks. But many of us wish to have content that is not inhibited by the FCC, censored or fined or otherwise. According to the FCC allows cable and satellite to use profane content on air because they are subscription-based. Again, this gets back into the point that there are many of those who cannot afford to have cable networks or satellite. And again, that brings the question, how is it that these individuals are able to enjoy adult content on air? Getting back to censorship, let's also not forget that the FCC's fines have influenced the concept of thought control. Now, albeit a very lessened extent to those instances in, say, the Middle East or North Korea, it's all the same thing. Let's not have our thoughts be inhibited by an outside source who could potentially misconstrue thoughts given by creators and otherwise.